Hello there friends, CS News Live here. In today's video, Kassad and his players just quit, bleed, some weird changes at ZyWOo named the best AWPer in the world, and a lot of other exciting news from the world of CS2. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. And we shall kick things off by talking about the Armory pass once again, because just a couple of days ago all the skins finally became available on the marketplace. As expected, in the very first moments, the prices for new skins were sky high, mostly due to limited amount of skins. Because, for example, those who managed to score the Desert Eagle Heat Treated from the limited edition series have already made back the cost of at least one battle pass. On the first day, the skin was selling for around 20 bucks. And I'm not even talking about the gem versions like blue gem, gold gem, and purple gem. Just the regular skins and patterns. Players who managed to snag several gallery cases without opening them also saw a nice return, as on day 1 each case was worth about $4.6. Which is roughly a quarter of the pass's price. And what's funnier here is that the gallery case itself still costs a lot, like $2 or something. And for example, the most expensive charm, a gold knife for the CT side, was going for just over $400. Interestingly, the most expensive collection on the first day was the graphic collection. It was underestimated by many players, resulting in fewer skins being dropped from it. The AWP from this collection was priced at a whopping $1,800. And the second highest priced item was the M4A1S Fade, which stood around $1,600, depending on the pattern. The cheapest covered skin was the AK from the Overpass 2024 collection, which was sold for $870 on the first day. Right now, some skins prices have dropped by about 4 times, and most of other skins are just way more cheaper. Yet, since it's still unclear when the battle pass will end, it's uncertain if these skins will go up in price, or the prices will go down and down and down. Anyways guys, this could be the least profitable battle pass of all times. What did you get, my friends? Drop your items in the comments below. I got the Desert Eagle Heat Treated, but it was just a random pattern, nothing gem-like. And the new M4A4 Poly Soup, and nothing more interesting, so yeah, share yours in the comments below. Now, finally, let's shift away from the Battle Pass and dive into real esports, and we will start with team changes. And the first in line is ENCE, who finally announced their new roster changes. ZyWOo and Kaspersky joined the team, and as a reminder, Goofy and Kyler recently left. ZyWOo, a French player, previously played for Mouz next, alongside Hat and Chris. There were some rumors that Bleed was interested in him, but he ultimately chose to join ENCE. Kaspersky, on the other hand, used to play for Young Ninjas. During his time on the pro scene, he even participated in EPL Season 19, when Rez suffered an injury and couldn't compete. In that tournament, they finished pretty low, managing to beat Heroic, but later lost to FlyQuest and got eliminated. Kaspersky didn't quite shine at the event, with his best HLTV 2.0 rating was .93. ENCE's next tournament is Lisa Masters Espo, which will take place from October 16th to 20th. This tournament will also feature teams like Heroic, NIP, 9Z, and the Mongols, with a pretty huge prize pool, to be honest. Speaking of Apeks tournaments, we just have to mention IEM Rio, arguably the hottest tournament of this season, and that's thanks to the Brazilian fans, who are probably the most passionate people in all of CS. We recently got some incredible footage straight from the arena during a signing session, and it honestly looked like a real CS festival. By the way, you can catch all the best videos and breaking news on our Twitter or X, so if you haven't followed it yet, just make sure you do it ASAP. The link's in the description. What's even more exciting is that amid all the carnival-like atmosphere, Brazilian's top streamer Glass remains laser-focused. Why? Because FURIA is about to face off against Mouz, and that's an opponent you definitely can't underestimate. By the way, if you didn't know, it was Glass who came up with AWPer's new nickname, Bixella. This is basically the answer why the Finnish captain wore a jersey with this name on his back. Bixella is simply AWPer's name reversed, a fun twist often used in Brazilian and Portuguese broadcasts. Yeah, and it was invented by Glass. And a little bit about Portuguese, since we touched it. Let's talk about the biggest team in Portugal, ZyWOo. There's been some strange roster moves happening there. First, Rozdak left the team. According to the player, the decision was mutual, as both he and the team agreed that it would be best for both sides. Rozdak was Saw's key player, to be honest, boasting a solid 1.12 rating. Agile from Team Rhino was brought in to replace him. This guy has a rating of 1.02. I honestly don't really know much about this player. If you have anything, just share below. Well, anyways, this change sparked some confusion in the scene, especially from Pradek, who expressed that he didn't understand why a Rozdak was benched. He speculated that Rozdak might have already signed a contract to join another team in 2025, but there's no real proof of this yet. A Rozdak contract was ending, and he could have potentially transitioned to another org after the major. Then, rumors surfaced that Rozdak intended to leave the team at the end of the year, which led to Saw simply benching him. And following this, Barry, Saw's coach, also left the team. The official statement cited differences in coaching style as the reason for the split. The situation escalated when Ashi, the co-owner of Ulti Agency, which is the agency of pro players in CS, hinted on Twitter that Saw was a terrible org, to which Saw's captain Mutiris responded, suggesting that Ashi didn't know what was really happening within the team. Rozdak himself joined the conversation, confirming that he signed with the agency to help him find a new team, but he hasn't received any offers yet. Mutiris wrapped things up by stating that he couldn't comment on the situation, but acknowledged that the team was forced into their current position, whatever that means. He also expressed hope that the team would be properly prepared for the next tournament. It seems that Rozdak's desire to move to another team played a significant role in his benching, though the exact internal details remain unclear. Guys, what do you think about Rozdak's situation? I mean, he's a cool player and he probably needed a new level to try? I don't know, drop your suggestions in the comments below. Continuing with the roster shakeups, rumors have surfaced that Elige is looking to leave Complexity and join a top-tier European team. This information comes from Thorin, who revealed that Elige is tired of playing with his current teammates and wants stronger players around him. And also Thorin says that if Elige leaves, it could lead to the collapse of Complexity. Currently, Elige boasts the highest rating on the team at 1.19, so his departure would undoubtedly impact Complexity. However, on the side of Complexity, there are other teams in the region, such as M80, so you can just potentially buy out a player from there to fill the gap. However, this is just speculation for now, and we will need more confirmation from other insiders before jumping to conclusions. Bros, to stay updated with all the transfer news and roster changes, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Yeah, and also hit the like button and drop a comment below, because it helps our development. Thanks. I hope you did it. Let's move on. Now to probably the juiciest part of the episode, as we just couldn't skip one of the biggest scandals of the recent times, maybe of the whole year. So the entire Bleed team, along with their coach Kassad, left the org. The reason? Well, they weren't paid, and that's basically all. But just listen to this, let's break it down in detail. So it all started with salary delays, as the players received their first payments only 4 months after signing their contracts. On top of that, Bleed owes the players $100,000 of prize money. Moreover, the org is also in debt to former players. For example, Faven is owed $15,000, Veldian another $10,000, and Cirque over $15,000, reported by Kassad himself. And that's just part of the picture. Bleed also owes money to other orgs like Apeks, for example, and G2. Guys, just listen to it. They owe Apeks $130,000 for Nuke and JCam. And I remind you that Apeks withdrew from the scene because they had no money, so potentially this sum could have saved them. Also, Bleed owes $42,000 to G2 for Nexa, with those payments due since May and June of this year. According to the players, Kassad had to cover a large portion of bootcamp expenses out of his own pocket, and the org still owes him around $20,000. Meanwhile, the CEO of Bleed just vanished with the money and nobody knows his whereabouts. Interestingly, Bleed's official statement on the matter reads: Bleed Esports has invested a significant financial amount into Counter-Strike, allowing Kassad full control on all matters to recognize his vision. We regret to see the opportunity handled in this this matter, but will continue to forge the best path forward for our organization's involvement in this title long term. The wording here, especially the mention of the opportunity being handled in such a manner, suggests that even the org might not have known what their CEO was doing with the funds. But the most fun and also terrifying thing is that the Dota 2 roster and the Valorant roster of Bleed didn't get their paychecks as well. So you can imagine how much money the org owes to everyone on their team. However, things may be taking a turn for the better, as a court hearing has been scheduled for the 21st of October regarding a case of Go I Wei Mervin, the CEO of Bleed. If the allegations are confirmed, there's hope that the players and staff might recover their money, or at least part of it. So for now, Kasad and his guys will be competing under the tag unpaid while they search for a new org. This is just unbelievable, to be honest. I hope they will find finances really soon. Let's take a break from the scandals and talk about something positive. Recently, ZyWOo and Monesy faced off in ESL's Me or You game, where they were asked various questions, including who has the better flick shots and who's the best AWPer in the world. So according to ZyWOo, Monesy beats him in both categories, being the best AWPer and getting best flick shots. For the rest of the questions, their answers were pretty similar. They both believe they have an equal chance to win a 1v5 clutch. The funniest moment though came when ZyWOo was asked about trash talking. Without hesitation, he named Apeks, so let's be honest, it's hard to disagree with that. But guys, let's discuss in the comments below, who is the best AWPer right now, Monesy or ZyWOo? Or maybe Simple is still the king? I mean, he can back to his peak form, can he? Now guys, let's talk a little about tournaments. Currently, we're seeing ESL Rio, but we will talk about their main competitor, Blast. You see, according to Richard Lewis, Blast's latest tournament was one of their worst, like ever. He wasn't just subjective, he pointed out several reasons for this. He was reached out by several people and they talked about Blast not in a good way. For starters, the premium seats, which were the most expensive, had terrible views, making it hard to see anything. On top of that, part of women's restrooms were closed without any clear reasons, and there were only 2 food stations. One of them was just preparing sandwiches that took like 10 or 20 minutes to make, regardless of how busy it was, while the other was just selling 3 types of burritos for 20 euros each, which is honestly insane. Another issue was that if someone left the arena, they weren't allowed back in, with no clear explanation why. But the biggest complaint was the ticket pricing. Some fans had to pay extra or even cancel their trips because of ticket issues. It's also worth noting that this tournament wasn't held at the usual Royal Arena, but at a different venue. However, Richard Lewis did highlight that these issues were only related to the LAN aspect of the event. In terms of production and everything else, Blast was, as always, top tier. Now let's dive into the most exciting part of IEM Rio, the playoff matches. It all started with the quarterfinals, where Navi faced off against Virtus.pro. The first map was Inferno, VP's pick, but it turned out to be a disaster for them. Things kicked off with VP winning the pistol round, but it quickly went downhill from there as Navi secured 6 rounds in a row. VP struggled to gain any momentum on the T side, and the first half ended with Navi holding a dominant lead. After the side switch, nothing really changed. VP won the pistol round again, but couldn't capitalize on it, giving Navi the map win on their own pick. The second map took us to Ancient, Navi's pick, but you know what guys, this time the game was much closer. VP started strong, winning 4 rounds in a row and looked solid to be honest, but JL's crucial 1v2 turned the tides upside down. Navi then went on to a streak, taking 3 rounds back, but VP put themselves together and won 3 more rounds to close the half at 7-5 in their favor. After the side switch, however, Navi completely took over. They dominated with 6 consecutive round wins, putting heavy pressure on VP. And while VP managed to scrap together another 3 rounds, with Norbert even pulling off an ace, it just wasn't enough. In the end, Navi closed out the map and sent VP home. The second quarterfinal was a showdown between Mouz and Vitality. The first map was Mirage, Mouz's pick. The game started with a 1v2 clutch from ZyWOo, but even that wasn't enough for Vitality to win the first round. However, this only fired up the Vitality players as they went on to win 7 rounds in a row, closing the first half at 9-3. The second half kicked off with an ace from Monesy. Oh, what a beauty! After that, the game went back and forth, but it all ended when Apeks got a quadro kill and secured the map for his team. Next was Nuke, Vitality's pick. It's worth noting that before the match, Vitality won 9 consecutive nukes. However, Mouz had other plans. The game started very poorly for Vitality as they fell behind 0-6. They managed to recover somewhat, winning 5 rounds and brought the first half to 7-5. After the side switch, Monesy shone again by winning the pistol round with a quadro kill. The teams traded rounds back and forth and the game reached a tight 11-12. In the crucial moment, Torji pulled off a 1v2 clutch. And it was amazing, and it ended Vitality's win streak on Nuke. So we're going for the decider, Inferno. And here, Vitality were absolutely dominated by Mouz. They were dismantled, destroyed. Well, anyways, it was 10-2 for Mouz in the first half. It was honestly incredible to watch, and it seemed like the loss in the previous map did something mentally to Vitality. Still, after the side switch, Vitality tried to come back and won almost 7 consecutive rounds. But you know guys, despite this incredible attempt, Mouz just had too much of an advantage from the first half. It's a sad story, but ZyWOo and his team lost, while Mouz advanced to the semi-finals. And speaking of them, let's talk about Na'Vi versus Heroic, one of the semi-finals. As JL mentioned before the match, Na'Vi were fully committed to giving it their all and securing the win. So, let's see. The first map was Ancient, Na'Vi's pick. However, things didn't start well for them as Heroic took the first 4 rounds in a row. Na'Vi really struggled in the first half, they just couldn't do anything against Heroic. So they logically took the lead. After the side switch, things got worse for Na'Vi, with Heroic winning the pistol round and the following force buy. Na'Vi did manage to win a series of 3 and nearly staged a comeback, but in the end, Heroic closed out the map, taking the first win. Next up was Dust 2, Heroic's pick, and they started with absolute dominance, winning 9 rounds in the first half. Na'Vi were on the verge of elimination. However, after the side switch, Na'Vi began their comeback, taking round after round after round and pushing the game to overtimes. And there in the OTs, Na'Vi just finished off Heroic, securing the second map. The decider was Mirage, and Heroic started strong. They took a 3-0 lead, and Nerds secured an ace. But after that, Na'Vi shifted into higher gear, winning 2 streaks of 4. After the side switch, Na'Vi kept up the pressure and eventually just finished off Heroic, securing their spot in the finals. But anyways, Heroic, great try. And lastly, we had the battle between Mouz and the entire arena as the crowd was fully behind Furia. Now let's get into the game. The first map was Nuke, Furia's pick, and it all started with a pistol round win for the Brazilians. But guys, that's where their momentum ended, as Mouz completely destroyed Furia, taking a massive 10-2 lead in the first half. The second half began with another pistol round win for Furia, but that was all they could muster, as Mouz quickly won 3 more rounds and closed out the map. The second map was Mirage, Mouz's pick. It followed a similar script, with Mouz just crushing Furia, this time with a 9-3 scoreline in the first half. Furia just couldn't find their footing, as if Mouz were reading them like an open book. In the second half, Mouz didn't drop a single round and finished the map flawlessly. I mean, that is kinda embarrassing, isn't it? Furia could have done better. Was it the pressure? Was it the preparation? Or what? Guys, if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments below. And yeah, as a result, the finals will see Na'Vi against Mouz, and Blade can rest easy after saying before the match that if Furia won, Na'Vi would refuse to take the stage as they expected to be destroyed. Now, Na'Vi has a real chance to win IEM Rio. Or do they? Anyways guys, thank you for watching, sincerely, and don't forget to hit the like button to follow the channel and drop a comment below because it helps our development. And also, if you want, you can predict who will win, Na'Vi or Furia. Obviously in the comments below. And yeah, I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.